In this section 2.4, we will talk about indicators of malicious activity. So our first video will cover types of malware. Then we'll talk about physical attacks, network attacks, application attacks, and all the other types. So what is malware? How do you know that there is some malicious activity? What is malware? This is a malicious software that is designed to harm a computer. So your computer is working normally, everything happens fine, and then you get a virus, you get a worm, you get a Trojan, you get a ransomware. What are these terms? What do they mean? So let's look at the most common types of malware that are in the CompTIA syllabus. First, you have a virus. A virus is a type of malware that can replicate and spread between computers. So you download, a file that has a virus that contains a virus, and then you double click, and then it creates some damage on your computer. It destroys files and does a lot more damage. A worm is similar to a virus, but a worm can self-replicate. So a worm can self-replicate to other computers, to other systems without user interaction. For example, let's take a look at this analogy right here. Imagine you have the Cybermook office right here, and you have the customers, you have the employees, sorry. So what happens when Annie downloads a file from the internet, and then it contains malware, it will replicate to everyone within the network if it's not a secure network. So that's a worm. So for a virus has to be activated, but the worm propagates itself. A Trojan is a type of malware that appears to be legitimate software, but contains malicious code. So it looks legitimate at first, but then it contains malicious code. So how does that work? Imagine here we have Irma, for example. She's trying to download a compressor software that she finds online to compress her files. Now, she downloads it to her computer, but it contains malware and she doesn't know it because she trusts the site. So what happens next? The computer starts acting slow, the performance reduces, the computer constantly crashes, and then she gets a warning that, the system crashing, virus detected, and more. That's a Trojan. The name comes from the history of the Trojan horse. In the Greek, in the ancient times, it's a very interesting story of how soldiers formed a siege outside, and then they offered the Trojan horse, and there were soldiers hidden inside the horse. The next type of malware is a ransomware. What is a ransomware? This is a type of malware that encrypts a victim files and demands a ransom payment in order to decrypt the files. So what a cyber criminal, they will they will send you a type of malware that will encrypt all the files in your computer, and they will ask you for a payment in order to restore your files. So this is a little bit what it looks like. And it tells you the time you have left. Now there are different types. This is just one example. And they tell you to send Bitcoin to a specific address, cryptocurrency. And these are examples of companies that were hit by ransomware. You have VMware. The hackers demanded 2 Bitcoins. So at the time it was $90,000, 45K each. And they had about 3,000 servers attacked. You had a University of Hawaii that was hit by ransomware. They had more than 60 gigabytes of data stolen, about 28,000 victims, and they paid at least $100,000. The full amount was not disclosed. You have Caesars and MGM casinos hit by ransomware. MGM refused to pay, and recovering their data took about 9 days, and they lost about $100 million in the process of restoring their data. Caesars paid about $15 million when the hackers asked for 30 millions. So this is ransomware. It's one of the scariest types of malware. Another type of malware is a backdoor. What is a backdoor? It's a type of malware that provides an alternative way to access a system. So you can, install software in a computer that gives you another way to access a system. You have a rootkit. A rootkit is a malware that gains admin control of a computer without being detected. So if you're able to install a rootkit on someone's computer, you will be able to control that computer as an administrator, install files, upload data, install user profiles, and more. So here's an example of a scenario. In some online practice questions, you will see questions like these. A system administrator is viewing this output from this Microsoft System file checker. And then you will see something like this. So when you see like the kernel, so the kernel was attacked, that means there was probably a rootkit involved. And here's another problem. An antivirus does not identify issues, but a thorough malware scan identifies a kernel as a kernel part that was not part of the original operating system installation. So when you see something that concerns the operating system or the kernel, that will probably be a rootkit involved. The keylogger. The keylogger is a malware that captures keystrokes typed by a user. You're typing something on your keyboard and someone at a remote location has everything live, and they can identify everything you're typing. Like they have a software that reads everything to them. A logic bomb is a malware that's set to execute harmful actions upon meeting specific conditions. For example, imagine you tell a user that he's going to be fired in 2 weeks. And then before the 2 weeks, he creates a program that will delete everything but it will delete everything after his email is deleted from the system. So after he's fired, and eventually it happens. That's a logic bomb. So it's like a time ticking bomb, and it waits for an event to happen before it performs the action. Spyware is a type of malware that spies on users and steals their information. So it spies in your computer, and the keylogger is a type of spyware. So you're spying on someone's computer and stealing their information. Bloatware is pre-installed software that comes with a new device and is often unnecessary. It consumes a lot of memory, slows down the device performance, and it's usually recommended to get rid of it before something more dangerous occurs. So let's summarize all these types of malware into one image. We started with viruses. Viruses, they can replicate themselves when you perform a certain action. Meanwhile, worms self-replicate. Trojans appear legit. So you see a software online, you like it, but then you download it and it creates damage on your computer. Ransomware, they demand ransom. They request money, they request a form of payment to release your files. The backdoor is an alternative access. There is another way of accessing a computer rather than the traditional login username and password. The hacker installs a kind of code which will enable him to access your computer without even you realizing. Rootkit is a type of software that gives administrative access, and the cyber criminal can install data and cause a lot more damage. The keylogger will capture keystrokes on your device without you knowing. So it's a type of spyware that captures every keystroke on your device. A logic bomb is a type of malware that is triggered by specific conditions. So it's like a time-ticking bomb, and once an event occurs, the logic bomb takes effect.
All right, guys, what did you think of this course? You liked it? Great. We're glad you did. You can follow us on all our social media platforms, including YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And don't forget, we also have these awesome Amazon flashcards to help you study. So definitely check out www.cybermook.com to order yours today.